Be the Good is all about people doing good in the world while following their passions. Good for their own souls and for others. I'm Kate Chericello, and welcome to today's episode. If you are enjoying these stories, please subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It would mean so much. You can also join our Facebook community under the group title, Be the Good with Kate Chericello. Let's spread a little more goodness in the world. Welcome back. This week, I am thrilled to introduce you to April Griswold. I'm lucky enough to know April through her work with the New York Foundling, and she is such a light and just always joyous whenever you are in her presence, and she does so much good in this world, in the New York Foundling and beyond. She's got her hands on lots of different projects. So I am excited to welcome her to the show today. April, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. I'm so excited to be here with you, Kate. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Well, it's much appreciated for you to take the time today. So April, first, I would just love for you to tell everybody a bit more about who you are and what you do.
Sure. So I guess I'll start off by who I am as a person. I am a fun-loving lover of everything art, music, and creative. That's just part of my core of my being. I'm a wife, a sister, and a really good friend. But in addition to that, I am the senior manager of special events at one of New York's most prominent social service agencies called the New York Foundling. And there I manage and oversee all of our fundraising events, as well as an amazing group of volunteers called our junior board, in which you're on. And in addition to that, I am a new entrepreneur. So I'm the founder and CEO of Next Level Coaching and Consulting. So excited about that. And that was founded in the height of the pandemic. And, you know, I really found that was my calling. I'm glad that I did it. But I just, you know, life is good. Life is good right now.
So glad to hear it, April. And I'm so excited to hear more about the coaching side too, because that's also, I knew that was a piece of your life, but I hadn't gotten to hear much about it yet. So April, tell us a little bit more about your path on how you got to here, both as a person with the Foundling and as a coach.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I have over 20 plus years of experience in the nonprofit sector. I think I was in corporate for like a hot minute. But I always felt like, I had a purpose, and I knew that being in the nonprofit world was where I needed to be. So I've had the opportunity to work for a number of different amazing organizations, but I always chose organizations that I felt really attached to their mission. So it was very intentional. I think my career was very intentional in that space of just, finding places that give back to children, families, young people, college access, like all the things that I'm really passionate about. So I feel very fortunate and very grateful to have those opportunities. I've worked in both the fundraising area as well as a program area. So I know kind of both sides of the coin of raising funds as well as working with folks who have their boots on the ground. So with that, I think, I think the word that kept coming up when I knew I was going to do this with you was alignment. And I think through all of those years of just working through so many different nonprofits, I was searching for alignment. So that means that, I needed that the work that I do professionally needed to kind of be aligned with my personal values. And I think right now here at this very moment, I think I'm aligned with all those things. So I'm doing everything that I wanted to do. But again, I think my moves in life were definitely very intentional. I'm not sure what the outcome would have been, but I think, it actually turned out pretty well.
Oh, fantastic. I love that word alignment, and I feel like it's come up more in recent years than I've ever heard it before. Right. And I'm so happy that it has. It's needed, right?
It really is. It's very important.
Yeah. April, you said that the new business came during the pandemic. Can you tell us a little bit more about how your world has changed during these last 18, 19, 20, whatever number month we're on now?
Oh boy. Yeah. It's been a crazy couple of almost 2 years for all of us. I think collectively as a human race, I think the pandemic has been absolutely just treacherous. It's been horrible. It's been scary. It's been uncomfortable. However, I think during the pandemic, has given all of us an opportunity to kind of, as an individual, to kind of step back, be still, and really think about like our lives and what it is that we really want to do. What is our purpose? What's our journey like? And kind of just thinking about what are the things that we want in our lives and what we don't want in our lives. And I said, for me, I think I hit a milestone year last year for my birthday. I won't tell you my age, but it was a really big year. And I always said that and this is before the pandemic hit, I was like, I am going to be a different human being by the end of 2020. And I didn't know what that meant. So, January passed, I'm in February, March, and then we're in the pandemic. And so I kind of just sat back and I was like, what do I want to do? Like, there's more that I want to give. And so I've always enjoyed helping others. I'm a huge empath. So I think, just working with folks and feeling what other people feel was just something that I've always done. But I wanted to, make that into a business. You know what I mean? And I always feel like I've indirectly coached people throughout my entire adult life, but I wanted to, I wanted to make that legitimate, right? So I went and became a certified coach during that time. And then decided to launch the business. I got my LLC, I got a business coach, like all these things. Like 2020 was jam-packed in addition to having a full-time job at the Foundling. So I think, with that, I was really just proud of myself. I didn't know what the outcome was going to be, but I'm going to tell you, December 2020, I looked at everything that I had accomplished. I got a couple clients that just came to me, and I wasn't really marketing the business. I was still trying to build it. So I was just super proud of myself of that journey. And I think that I was kind of coming into my own and really taking risks because I got still. And I just really was like, okay, this is who I am. And now I can do the amazing work at the Foundling, but also having my sidepreneur business and both of those align because I'm helping, youth and foster care, but I'm also helping individuals who also maybe need help with that alignment and getting, becoming the best versions of themselves. So super grateful again. But yeah, it was 2020 was a really transformative year for me.
There was so much there of like great nuggets of advice that I hope that everybody listening gets inspired by, because I know I sure am, hearing how you said, you put it out in the universe at the top of 2020. You said, I'm going to make changes. I don't even know what that is yet, but I'm going to do it. I love that so much. I love that so much. And yes.
Manifest what you want, and it'll come to you.
And you started making the steps, you had clarity along the way, and you always going towards your alignment. That is fantastic. And the other thing, I'm so glad you said the words that I was so proud of myself at the end of 2020, because don't you find that a lot of times we don't celebrate the wins along the way? Sometimes we're always worried about the next thing.
Absolutely. And I always say, a friend of mine always says, and I start to say this, is like, give yourself flowers. You know what I mean? Like, award yourself. It's okay. Like, I'm very, humble, and I'm a little, modest, and I'm not a person that brags and I did this, I did that. But I just feel like, you need to kind of give yourself some props of like, I did this, and I'm proud I'm proud of this. And so, yeah, I think it's difficult for so many of us to just celebrate ourselves. I was happy to do it. And, I have an amazing tribe that has also helped me along the way as well, and build me up and told me that I can do this. Like, they're like, I've always seen the light. It's just, you needed to see it. And I, again, last year was that year that I just saw my true self, and I'm in it.
Well, that is right there is such a great example of good news and goodness in the world. And do you have more examples you'd like to share of those good news moments from your interactions with clients, be them the kids or the adults or anything in between?
I sure do. And I mean, I'm going to go to my work with the New York Foundling and working specifically with the junior board. I think I've always said to you guys that working with the junior board is the highlight of my job. I just really enjoy working with folks that give their time, their resources, as well as their money to help really big causes. And I think working with the junior board through a pandemic really showed me how people really show up. Granted, there were people going through things personally with families. We're all impacted by COVID in some way or shape or form. But the fact that people really set aside time to help others, I was just floored by it. I am, again, grateful for the opportunity to work alongside you guys. I think it just showed me that people really, really care, and there are good people out there. And, you know, shout out to all the junior board members that did watch this. I absolutely adore you guys, and just proud of the work that we've done, and, you know, in last year and this year. But yeah, I think there were so many accomplishments. We raised a lot of money, but, you know, I just think the overall community that's been built on that board has just always inspired me and keeps inspiring me. So I think that was my moment to really see a large group of people in action, just really caring about someone else or something else, something bigger than them.
Yes, yes. And the community aspect is so huge too, because so many people were isolated during the pandemic as well. And so to have something, and, you know, there's always some sort of volunteer opportunity out there in a community, right? And to find something that, and then during the pandemic, it still was going, even if we couldn't meet in person. And that was really incredible. And you were at the helm of that. So thank you for keeping it going and all of that, because it's a great group of people.
It really is. Really is. Honored to be a part of it.
Oh, well, same here. Travis Welcome was one of my very first guests. So, and
Travis.
Oh, he's just, again, such like you, just such a light, such an energy about him. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Good people. So April, I have one more question for you. What any sayings or mantras or quotes that you find yourself repeating often?
Yes. So this was my favorite part of this, because I love words and I love words of affirmation. So if you were in my apartment, like, there's words everywhere. I literally have like a picture that just says laugh, right? Because my husband and I just love laughing. We love just enjoying each other's company, and laughter is definitely the core of our relationship. And so with that, I go through moments of like my favorite saying. So at the moment, I have one that I heard Oprah say when I was watching one of these shows that she had. But it was, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And the thing is, I think a lot of people probably are familiar with this quote, but I think for me, it's more about, you know, I think throughout my life, I've always looked at, if something bad happened, I really just put myself down. I was like, oh my God, why me? But I think as of recently, and as I said, like, just these, you know, my areas of growth is more or less like, you know, I look back at all of the things, both good and bad, that have happened to me, and they were all for a reason. Like, it all makes sense. And so whenever I'm in like a sticky situation or an uncomfortable situation or a not so great situation, it's not great, but I also look at that like, there's something that I need to be learning from this situation, and something that I need to get from this that's going to make me a better person. And again, it's easier said than done, but it's a mindset shift. And I call myself, I'm a certified coach, but I focus on mindset, because I think that's what's helped me, is changing my mindset has definitely opened up more doors. And which is why I love the coaching piece, because it's to help people to change their mindset and how they think about things and those limiting beliefs. So, you know, again, whatever happens for me, it's going to happen, because it's going to teach me a lesson at some point. And universe will keep teaching you lessons until they're learned. So with that, I think, you know, you pay attention to the situations that you're in. It's happening for a reason. So, you know, that's something that I always repeat to myself every day.
Oh, it's such a great perspective too. Thank you for sharing that, April. April, where can we find you and follow everything that you are involved in?
Sure. So because I'm a new entrepreneur, I'm still working on that website. I have a perfectionist tendency, so it's like I want to get it just right. However, I am on IG and I'm also on Facebook. So you can look up on IG, you can just hit NL Coaching and Consulting. And on Facebook, it's Next Level Coaching and Consulting. And you can certainly find me there, follow me. I have some really cool content that's going to be coming out soon. So, you know, I hope check me out.
Excellent. April, thank you so much. This was such an inspiring conversation. I appreciate you sharing.
Oh my God, it was my pleasure. This is so easy. Like, I'm literally was nervous for nothing. I'm like, oh, this is easy. I'm just being myself. So
there it is. There it is. You being yourself.
Thanks so much for listening to Be the Good with Kate Chericello. Whether you're listening on YouTube or via podcast, it would mean the world if you'd like, subscribe, and or left a review. You heard about the good? Now go out and be the good in your life this week. If you have stories of good news that need to be shared, please send me a message. Thanks again, and have a great week.